All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. If you are here for the Packers Eagles post game, I'm sorry to disappoint. I titled it incorrectly. So, all of you who saw that and I copy and pasted, I don't even know how I fucking did it because I wrote all the Bills stuff, all the Bills hashtags, and I still titled it wrong. So, thank you guys.
Is it not still post game for Eagles Packers?
Technically, it
Technically,
is.
it's not
Technically,
pregame.
yeah. We're still in a post game for them.
Yep.
Uh, this is the That's Good Sports post game. We're gonna have Brett Kollmann joining us later. He is our special guest, our very special guest. I brought down some nice scotch to try and impress him later, so we'll see if it works. This is Will Keys. If you don't know, you should know. Will helps me write all of the videos you see here on That's Good Sports for the last 6 years, 5 years. Do we ever determine how many years?
I believe it's been 6.5.
6.5, just like me, baby. Huh?
Bang!
Unit size, Will.
Downtown.
All right. Yeah, Will helps me write. So we decided to try and go live after Thursday Night Football. Now, the Bills just kicked the shit out of the Dolphins 31-10. James Cook had his coming out party. I think he rushed for 3 touchdowns, right? Was it 3? He rushed for 2, and did he have a receiving one? He received one. He did receive. Not a great Thursday night game. We're going to get into it. Obviously, the Tua concussion as the Dolphins were driving late in the game to try and get back in it, sort of took over as the big story this evening. But he was not playing well prior to that concussion. And kind of the crazy thing, he ran into Damar Hamlin when he concussed himself. And unfortunately, Tua, he picked up a 4th down. It was 4th and 3. Runs straight up the field, and instead of sliding, he drops his shoulder, and his head and neck hit Hamlin's like arm area, kind of weird. Cocked back, he immediately fell down. And I think everybody knew right away. I was like, oh, crap, that looks like another concussion. And 6
Yeah.
days later, they confirmed that. So,
Yeah, I mean, you saw his right hand go up. You're like, because we kind of it was such a big narrative at the start of 2022,
yeah.
and then he stayed healthy and he played so well last year that we kind of just forgot about it, I guess, or at least I forgot about it to some extent.
Yeah.
It was on the back burner. It was no longer like a huge concern. But it just goes to show, just one hit. That's all it takes.
Yeah, he should have been wearing a Guardian cap. Despite the fact that I have shamed everybody who wears a Guardian cap. Actually, I don't know if it would have made a difference in that situation.
I'm going to assume probably not.
Because his head really is like his head really bent back awkwardly too.
Yeah.
But it was a thing where like he made such an effort to kind of eliminate the way he was falling, because I believe the previous concussions happened when his head was hitting the ground, right? So he did the whole offseason of jiu-jitsu training, trying to get around that. And yeah, he made it through all of last season. And then it's week 2. So now you had people like I think Shannon Sharp and T.O. Tweeting, or somebody like posting their text exchanges about Tua should consider retiring and all that shit. But
basically everybody's saying he should retire.
Yeah,
on Twitter,
because we're all doctors.
That's the one thing I get. I get that it's coming from like a good place, a place of good intentions. I've never liked anybody telling someone when to retire, or like what they should do for themselves. That's just like, it's just not your concern, really.
Yeah, this one's tough too because it feels like if you're looking at this isolated concussion, it's correctable, right? It's just like Tua, just, you got to slide. Like,
Yeah.
don't drop your shoulder. And I think like 99% of coaches tell any quarterback that in the NFL now, like, do not seek contact. And we saw, it happened to Anthony Richardson last season. Obviously, like, some guys are, I don't know, a little more prone to getting hurt when they do it, but it's just one of those fucking things. And hopefully he's all right. Hopefully, we'll see how the week progresses, but it did not look good. And yes, Thursday Night Football definitely cursed.
TNF never goes very well.
No. Oh, look, Kevin, we just answered that. I don't think he should retire unless like his doctor says this is a bad one. Yeah. We're seeing like progressions of something you need to be concerned about. But
yeah, let's leave that to a neurologist and Tua.
Yeah.
I've never thought it was our place to say.
I mean, I think it's my place to say if it's a player I don't like. Like, I think Patrick.
Well, nobody on Twitter likes Tua, so everybody actually was shitting on him. Yeah. The duration of this game before he got hurt, it was kind of crazy that it was like
you suck. I hope you're okay, dude.
Right, 99% of tweets were Tua, you fucking piece of shit. Things of that nature.
Yeah,
like Justin Herbert clears. You suck. Go suck dicks for the rest of your career, and then he gets a concussion. It's like, well, you just have to, I worry about
your safety and your health and your family.
I worry about him as a person right now after you just told him to fucking jump off of a cliff.
It is that fast. But see, I like Tua, so I want him to keep playing.
Yeah,
I want Patrick Mahomes to retire. That's what I was saying. But
I think he should retire after his political comments the other day.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
His political comments saying that he's not going to comment on his political comments.
Yeah, that's a political comment.
I love it.
Who are you endorsing, Patrick? We need to know.
Yeah, do we?
No, we don't.
Dude, that's the thing. Patrick, he always gives the right answer. He's like, I don't want to judge people for who they're going to vote for and what some of their beliefs are. I just want to.
And he's got it's insane. Like, everybody in his family is a lunatic.
Except him. Yeah, it makes me like him a little more. It does make me like him a little more.
Yeah, he's got all the odds are stacked against him, and still he's as good doing press conferences as he is on the field.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it takes, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers was really good, but he had a weird situation with his family for a long time. Tom Brady loved his family, but he chose football over him. So maybe that's just, you got to be able to completely detach.
Football is family. Let's remember that.
It is.
You have to, you cannot be a family man and also an incredible quarterback.
No, it takes too much time. It takes too much insanity because you got to be a little insane.
You gotta.
That's why Phillip Rivers never won a Super Bowl. Never got to a Super Bowl. Just loved too much family. Too hard.
He loved way too hard and way too frequently.
He did. So Von Miller, second game in a row with the sack this season. Suck it to everybody who told me he was done. He was washed. Even though you had a lot to base that off of. And with that second sack, he's tied with Dwight Freeney at 125.5 sacks. And he trails Derek Thomas by just 1 sack. So it's nice to see Von getting back in the mix. Today's show sponsored by Underdog. There's a link in the description. Our code is That's Good. Remember, the journey is 10,000 signups at Underdog. If I hit that for Underdog, they owe me $1 million. And if I get $1 million, I'm going to pay Will more money. Now, if you don't want Will to make more money, use somebody else's code or don't do it.
I don't know if this is the best selling point.
But I can support a bunch of people saying I don't want you to get it because we don't want to see Will get paid.
Yeah.
And I was playing streaks tonight. I'm just trying to start a streak. And to start a streak on Underdog, you got to pick 2 players correctly, their stat totals, Will. And I went with I think Tyreek scoring, and that didn't happen. I was like,
Nope,
I
didn't
feel
even
pretty
come close.
confident he's going to score. And I thought Greg Rousseau would get a sack, and he did not. Von Miller got the sack. So I haven't even started a streak, but it's a fun game there. Anyway, sponsoring us all season. They work with Brett too. So, they support a lot of us, which is very, very cool. I've had concussions that took a year to fully recover from that weren't that bad. I wouldn't fault him for taking his injury guarantee and pulling a Luck and Kuechly. Yeah, like if you've got lingering issues with concussions, then yeah, don't mess with it. And only Tua can know that. But
yeah, I don't think anyone would fault him. That's not really the conversation. It's just like we're not in the place to tell a professional athlete what to do or not to do.
Yeah. Or even if even if it's like, I'm just going to take the rest of the season to get right. If it, if he has lingering symptoms or something, I would understand that. But
yeah,
screw fantasy team, screw odds, thoughts and prayers for Tua. Only time T's and P's are actually necessary. There could be other times there might be necessary.
Yeah, someone drove a truck onto the field at CU.
CU Boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody tagged me and said, "Is this you?" Thanks.
You do drive a truck.
Man looked tall, so I'll take it. Guardian Cat for Tua. Yep. Brock Osweiler starting over Peyton Manning led to the Browns trading for Deshaun Watson.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
Ooh, Toro. I like it.
Yeah. Because let's see. The Texans signed Osweiler, obviously, after his little 6-game stint in 2015.
Sure.
And then he was bad in Houston, right?
Yes.
So
he won a playoff game there, though, didn't he, for them?
Yes.
Osweiler, technically, he won that playoff game, right?
Yeah, but yes, technically he did.
Okay.
They traded him and his salary,
right,
and a pick to Cleveland.
Okay.
And then they took Deshaun Watson in the first round in 2017, the same year.
Good. This is a nice recap for when we do our Deshaun Watson episode.
Yes.
I feel like in a few weeks he'll be suspended, and then we'll do an episode about Watson. But I think our angle is just blaming it all on Brock Osweiler. I think that's why we go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, let's not hold Deshaun accountable. Let's blame Brock Osweiler for this. Cleveland.
Brock did this.
Brock did it.
Brock's responsible for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Brock's actually good. You ever turn on a college football game and hear Brock? It's kind of a.
Oh, is he good in the booth?
He's good in the booth, yeah.
Can he even
barely fits in that booth? Yeah.
Yes, we're on the same page, Will.
Well, it's great. I mean, the man's like 6'7".
Yeah, 6'8", I think.
Is he?
I don't know. His hair.
He loved them tall.
Yes, Elway really did. Buffalo looked good though. To bring this back to the game, before Brett joins us after his stream, I don't know exactly when that will be, but people have been waiting for James Cook to score a lot of touchdowns, and he did it tonight. Fantasy players are going to be happy. And I know Bills fans got to be happy, because I think something I noticed this offseason where Bills fans really high on James Cook going into this year, saying that this is going to be like his breakout year. And to do it on Thursday Night Football in prime time, it wasn't like to be fair, it wasn't like he had to do a lot, Buffalo is in favorable situations quite a bit. Tua's first 2 picks, the first pick Tua threw bounced off like the dude's shoulder pad, so I'm not going to put that on Tua. Second one looked like it was a miscommunication between him and Chosen. If I'm going to blame somebody there, it's going to be Chosen Anderson. But
I'm choosing.
Tua sailed it for sure. And then the third one was unforgivable. He's trying to avoid, I think, getting sacked, and he just flings it off his back
Yeah,
foot.
and it's on 3rd down, so you might as well
Yeah.
take the sack.
Yeah, just, that
You're
one
gonna
he
get
wants
hit either
back.
way,
And that was a pick six.
That was the most pick six a pick six has ever been, I think.
Yeah. And, Taron Armstead injured again. Did Terrell Bernard, he never returned to the game for the Bills, did he?
Don't believe so.
Yeah. So they're already dealing with linebacker injuries, just like a story I've seen too many times for the Bills. Skylar Thompson comes in, finishes it. He just winding out the clock really at that point. Achane had a decent game. He was basically the only target, whether it was handing it off or throwing. It was like Achane. So he got in the end zone, 7 receptions, 69 yards, 22 carries, 96 yards. But this was, the Bills look good. Their defense looked good. Josh Allen didn't have to do a lot. Will and I are working on a video I should have finished tomorrow about the decline in the passing game in the league and passing stats. And this is kind of like an anomaly, but it's, Josh Allen, 139 passing yards and a TD, but that's all he had to do. So I'm going to spend all day tomorrow criticizing quarterbacks who are not throwing for 300 yards, and probably the best quarterback. And the guys I said who can save us this season are Josh Allen was in there. I mentioned Tua, and I might have to cut those before I put out the final product tomorrow.
Yeah, you could just make up 2 other names.
Yeah, I'll just be like Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson's going to average 350 a game.
I suggest that in blowout games, teams not be allowed to use their timeouts. What do you think? In the fourth quarter?
100%.
Yeah. If we know the game is over, not like, oh, there's a chance this team could get back in it.
I think so there's this feature on College Football 25 where if the math says that you can just kneel 3 times and they can't, stop the clock from hitting 0 without using, even with all their timeouts, it just runs down like automatically.
Oh, nice.
So it just like goes super speed to the end of the game.
Could they do that for us?
Yeah.
I would like that.
I think if the math says the game is over and you take a knee, it's over.
Yeah.
Which they kind of do already, but don't call your timeouts after that.
No. But I said Buffalo was having to use it. I was like, come on, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Come on, Buffalo. Just let this game get over. All right. Oh, yeah. Schaub getting Kubiak fired. Okay. He's here. I don't know if I've ever talked to Brett live before. This is going to be fun. I said I was going to try and embarrass myself in front of Brett because he's so knowledgeable. Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Kollmann in a new location.
How are you feeling after losing to the Seahawks in week 1 again?
I'm over it. I'm good.
You sound over it.
Like a month ago.
You think if Bo Nix throws 1,000 times, he might be able to get 300 yards?
Yes, I do. I think he's going to look better this week. And I know that's a crazy thing to say against the Steelers defense.
It's not. Because if you think about it, what's like the most... am I allowed to cuss on this stream?
Yes.
What's the most fucking batshit insane like rookie debut you can cook up? How about being on the road in Seattle for their home opener against a Mike McDonald defense?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think
it's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I think we saw just like what Mike McDonald meant to the Ravens just by contrast week 1. Like the Ravens defense, they were fine, but they didn't look as good. In Seattle's defense that had a lot of problems last year, oh God, they're doing everything well. Pressure up front, looks like they hit on their rookie, and coverage was great. So Bo was put in a tough spot.
Yeah, and you know who else started against Mike McDonald their rookie year, their debut was CJ Stroud last year. And he looked better than Bo Nix for sure. I'm not gonna go ahead and like compare him right now, but he didn't look like CJ Stroud yet against Mike McDonald. So who knows? I think we'll see a Rookie of the Year season incoming if those two are any indicators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the correlation. Yeah.
But like how much
go ahead.
Going from Seattle's defense to Pittsburgh's defense, it's like I want to have confidence, but I need to hear you tell me why I should. Then I'll feel better about it.
Here's why you should. All right.
Yes.
It's Denver in the summer, right? So it's still hot. Well, it should be hot. It's still in the
high 80s right now.
So high 80s, thin air. They're still getting into condition, right?
Okay.
They're still getting into football shape because there's limited padded practices. You still get a few joint practices, but there's one less preseason game. You're not 100% in shape yet. The air is thin. You can't breathe. It's hot. It's dry. Like environmentally speaking, it's
okay.
You can wear them out.
This really makes me not want to go to the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, bring a water bottle,
Yeah.
But it's a really, really tough environment for people to play in. And I feel like Denver is never given credit for being like that type of place you just don't want to go to. And I kind of put it up there with Miami. Like Miami was 76% humidity at like 11 o'clock at night tonight.
Yeah.
If they could run block at all, like that would have been a much tougher game for Buffalo. But Miami is like, I mean, especially in the day, like Buffalo got to break the fact this was a night game and not a day game. But in the day, Miami has one of the highest home field advantage rates in the entire league. And really? Denver, I think, doesn't get the credit for being a similar type of place to play because environmentally it's just so unique and you can't prepare for it. So I think it's very easy to see a situation where the Steelers defense gets completely worn down and gassed and tired. And, first half, it'll probably be a back and forth competitive game. The key is you can't turn it over. You can't get behind and try to dig yourself out of a hole. But if you could just keep it close, you can wear them down by the middle of the third quarter. They're going to be completely gassed and out of breath. And then you could just lean on them. Operation Bo Nix, 5 yards, average depth of target will be successful, and you can win the game.
Yeah, we're going to tire them out with 82 stick routes to start the game.
Hey, man, can't go broke taking a profit.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We just need a couple of them to break, just need a couple broken tackles. That will be the difference. And now, week 1, the Broncos were very healthy. Right now, Audric Estime already going to IR. Garrett Bowles has been banged up.
He went to IR?
I think the short term, the four game one. Yeah. I don't even know what his injury was. But have you ever met Brett?
No. Hi, I'm Brett.
Hey, Brett. How's it going? I've watched a lot of your videos.
I appreciate that. I apologize for giving you bad fantasy advice.
No
repeatedly.
You made up for it.
Oh, what are you drinking, Brett?
This is a Zinfandel from Northern California.
Nice.
That I don't remember buying, but decided to pop it tonight because I was doing the TNF stream with EJ. And I was like, I kind of want something to drink, and I didn't feel like whiskey. So we're doing wine tonight.
I brought this down here because it's one of my favorite scotches.
Port Charlotte's amazing.
I did that just to impress you, too.
The smoke on it's so good. It's an acquired taste. Like a lot of people don't like the peatiness of it, but I'm a sucker for it. It's so good.
No, the first time I had a smoky scotch, I was like, what fucking idiot would drink this? It tastes like a burnt cigarette. And now it's like my favorite one. This was the first scotch I ever bought, too. Just happened to be a very good recommendation.
It was the first one? How long has it been sitting there?
No, this is new.
Oh, okay.
I've been through a bunch of bottles, but I was at the lag of dude, I almost brought that down. Baby. Yeah.
It's like, this is my favorite.
I was like, which bottle should I bring down to impress Brett? And I passed on the Lagavulin because like he'll probably know that one too. Like it's too popular. Port Charlotte.
I think I have my Port Charlotte upstairs. I just moved here, like I finished moving here like yesterday, so I haven't put up all my alcohol yet. But I think I got my Port Charlotte upstairs.
Nice. What part are you still in the LA area?
I moved out of downtown,
Right.
and now I'm further south. I'm a little bit closer to the coast,
Okay.
near my family.
Okay,
So
cool.
it'll be nice to be near them because the thing is, getting out of downtown LA and into downtown LA is a lot harder than people realize. So like you're near everything, but you can't get anywhere. So we kind of got tired of that.
Why don't they just have you live at SoFi? I feel like they should just have you there.
So, fun fact, the Rams and the Chargers, neither of them actually controls what happens at SoFi.
Oh.
And so anytime I ask any of them, it's like, oh, can I go film this thing like for you guys? It's like, can I go film this thing? They're like, oh yeah, we have no say in what happens there. Like SoFi is SoFi. They do their own shit. So like none of the NFL teams have any say of what happens there.
That's
like
crazy.
they show up, they have their games, and then SoFi goes back to doing whatever the fuck it wants to do.
And you're doing stuff with like the Chargers now, right?
I am, and they're so like people don't realize like the Chargers are coming, man. The inside of that building, it feels so different
Electric
than last year. Electric is a good for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like the adults are in charge. The vibes in the building are incredible. The culture is incredible. And I get the talent isn't all the way there yet. Like they still need help at receiver. And, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on with the interior offensive line. It's not terrible, but they're just inconsistent. And I would say like tight end, they could still use like a dynamic receiving tight end. And DB is okay, but they still need a little bit more. But like we're nitpicking here. Within 2 years, this team is going to be competing for an AFC championship game. Like I truly believe that because the foundation between tackles, pass rushers, quarterback, coaching, trainer with Ben Herbert. Like Ben Herbert is worth his weight in gold. He makes $1.5 million a year as the head trainer for this team, and he's worth
that Justin's dad.
No, he's a much scarier Herbert than Justin. But Harbaugh brought him over from Michigan. Imagine a college strength coach making $1 million a year. That's how good he is. And that's the main reason why Michigan won that title is because they were tougher and more well-conditioned than any other team in the country by far. So not to mention Jesse Minner, who's going to be a future head coach. Like the coaching staff is great. At key positions, the talent is great. They just need like a couple more pieces. And this is going to be a championship caliber team. I can tell you that much.
Here's a question I have about the Chargers. What does the worm has turned mean?
I looked it up. I looked up the definition. Did you know what it meant, Will?
No. No. Am I supposed to?
No, because I looked it up for power rankings. I was like, what the fuck does the worm has turned mean? It's just like your fortunes have changed is kind of like the easiest way.
Yeah, I guess I could have like.
Is that a Harbaugh-ism?
It is.
I think it is. And when he was handing out his game balls in their like post game, one of the players like yelled, "The worm has turned," and then they all were like, "Oh, worm has turned!" And a situation can suddenly change, and someone who has been unsuccessful or unlucky can become successful or lucky. So it's actually like a very fitting, I don't know, slogan for the Chargers.
That's such a Harbaugh terminology too.
Yeah.
Of like this like folksy 1940s phrase.
No, I don't. I literally don't think anyone has spoken those words in succession since the 1940s, at least.
And he's so authentic. That's what I love about him.
He
like that whole like Harbaugh lives in a trailer thing. Like that was real. That was completely real. Like he lived in that trailer park for like the first couple months when he moved to LA. Yeah. And this is a head coach of an NFL team making like $15 million a year. And he lived in a fucking trailer park.
I think he just has an infatuation with worms, though.
If worms had machine guns, then birds wouldn't be scared of them.
He's got good worm
On this
references.
stream.
I had to switch to the GPS background for that clip.
Oh man. But no, I think the Chargers are on the way up. I would even say the Broncos are on their way up, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Once the Raiders figure out quarterback, which is easier said than done, like it's very possible the AFC West could be an extraordinarily tough division. They got to hit a lot of green lights. They got to thread a lot of needles along the way, but they're not that far off. Like they're really not.
No, I think we were optimistic heading into the season after preseason. And I think Will and I knew probably all of September is going to be a little rough for the offense for Bo Nix. I'm a little more concerned because I feel like it's going to be a little rougher for the offense as a whole than I thought. And maybe that's just lack of playmakers, like dynamic playmakers. They got good pieces, and I think Bo will get to utilizing them. But it feels like this is one of those years where your team is just kind of trying to find their depth pieces and their under the radar guys. And we'll have our money back next year because we won't be paying it all to Russell Wilson, so we can make some splash moves in free agency and just another good draft. And as long as Bo Nix is decent, I'm just like, give me 13th best quarterback in the league. That's what I need Bo Nix to be. I'll be all right with it.
What do you think about throwing a bag at T. Higgins?
Oh, I would love it.
I think we've talked about that before, haven't we, Brandon?
Probably. Maybe
like before the offseason, before we knew he was going back to Cincy for a year. I think that makes sense. I mean, I certainly wouldn't say no to T. Higgins, but that whole wide receiver room right now with like Reynolds, Sutton, Vele, and they even got rid of Tim Patrick, but they're all kind of like a very similar archetype of wide receiver.
Yeah, big, strong.
Yeah, and that's the confusing things about, like, they only played Mims 12 snaps on Sunday. It feels like they should be throwing out someone who can maybe threaten a defense down the field, but that's a way of saying, yeah, I would still take T. Higgins, yes.
Yeah.
Could I throw out a potential scenario for you?
Oh, yes, please.
Let's say this Tua thing is bad, right? And he's sitting for a significant amount of time. And the Dolphins go in the tank because they have a bunch of roster deficiencies in their own right.
Are you giving us Tyreek Hill?
What do you think?
Oh, man.
Oh, to beat the Chiefs?
I mean, it's not trade deadline's week 8. They're going to know if they're asked by then. They're going to know if they're out of it.
Yeah, well, they just extended him, right?
They did, but like if this turns into a serious problem for Tua, and Miami's all of a sudden staring down the barrel of we're going to rebuild.
I think they're good enough to like tread water for a while, pardon the pun, but with McDaniel. But to accept the premise, I think I don't know.
My cat decided to fight, so I didn't grab him.
I don't know. That's a hard one. What do you give up for Tyreek?
The thing is, he's older and he's expensive, so it'd probably be 2.
Yeah.
2?
But if we're talking about a guy who can make the most of Bo Nix throwing 3-yard passes, it's just making his life easier.
Yeah, I mean this is when you're supposed to be aggressive. Is you've got a guy on his rookie contract, and Bo Nix is 36 already. You might not get a second contract, so yeah. I mean, invest in all the playmakers you can right now. I think.
Yeah.
I would throw it out. I would also throw out, like, if the Browns are really going downhill because Deshaun Watson sucks, Amari Cooper could probably be pried away. Like,
yeah, as long as you don't give us Judy back.
The way you're thinking. Yeah.
We're not taking Judy back, and I hope he plays well there. No, I like Amari. I was really excited if Amari would have eventually landed with the 49ers. I thought that would have been fun when we thought Ayuk was going to get traded, but
I think Amari would have preferred that too.
Yeah, every receiver after week 1 who played for Deshaun would prefer that. I had a very important question I did want to ask you specifically, Brett, while I have you here. Why do you insist on cursing specific players at an alarming rate?
Look, I'm a vessel of the gods. I have been put on this earth for one purpose, and that is to sow discord and chaos. I've accepted my role.
Okay.
When are you also going to accept the fact that you are an agent of chaos?
Well, see, I say the same thing. It's the wheel. I just spin it.
Hey, man.
I just spin it.
Hail Satan. That's what we're here for. Praise
Exactly.
be unto him. I don't choose my purpose. My purpose chose me.
Yeah. That's
Is
really
what it
the
is.
goal of all these channels. It's
Yeah.
to slowly convince people the devil is the truth.
I mean, at this point, if you don't believe in it, you're just look at my video history.
I know, it's insane.
speaks for
It's like,
itself.
I feel bad for you because I feel like every guy you get excited about is then injured within weeks, or suddenly they were great and then they're just not good anymore.
Like, if I woke up tomorrow to a headline of Joe Alt miraculously hit by the only meteor to strike Earth's crust today, like
Yeah,
I would
what
believe
it'll
it.
Yeah.
Like,
Because he
It's
had a
just-
great week one. He's escaped your curse so far?
so far,
Okay.
but I'm coming to get him. I'm trying
Which-
to get that ass.
A lot of
Is there
season left.
is there one you feel really bad about? Like you're like, this is getting a little weird.
God, I'm trying to remember. Oh, Nick Chubb. I sent out a tweet like last season of just about how like ridiculously good Nick Chubb is, and I'm so happy that he was able to come back from multiple injuries, and he's such a dominant player, and he's a story of resilience, and he's great. And then like literally 5 minutes later, he got hurt again last season.
Is that close? That's crazy.
I'm like, come on. It was bad. It was so bad. I felt awful.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Yeah, if you guys don't know, you got to subscribe to Brett's channel. He does great breakdowns on players, but when he does, then that player, something bad happens to him. So take it or leave it. It's like,
I mean, I think I have a similar hit rate to the wheel personally.
yeah. I think
You're
what's
the Nicholas Castellanos of YouTube.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What's nice, the wheel, it's like, it's 50-50 whether the teams win or going to lose, and injuries happen so frequently. Like, it's just going to get blamed. And it's nice to blame something that's just like a inanimate object, right? Versus really being held accountable as a fan for what's happening to your team. If you can blame a wheel or you can blame Brett, then it's easier for you to go through the rest of your day. That's
At the end of the day, like, we get 17 weeks a year of watching our team play football. We have to rationalize when they're bad somehow.
Yes.
So that's
I think like some of the funniest tweets I saw, it's like football fans complaining for months that football's not here. 30 minutes into the first game, they're cursing their team and talking about how miserable they are as fans watching their team. I was like, that's
why am I not
good.
fishing?
Yeah. Where's football? Where's football? Oh no, our team is average again.
It's like, I could be at the beach right now. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's so silly, especially like week one now too. It's like the more I watch football with every year, it's just like week one is just preseason week 4
Yeah.
in a lot of
Oh,
ways.
yeah.
It really is. Like people taking victory laps on their off-season takes after 1 week. It drives me crazy to no end. It really gets to me because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter until week 2.
Would
you say that's one of your enemies, Will?
There you go. We did it.
People taking victory laps after 1 game.
Brandon's enemy, prescription drugs.
Yes.
What is that?
I'll get to that in a second. See, I took a guess for Brett, and so I said Brett's enemy is any player Brett likes. So that is the enemy we'll be tracking. Who's a player you're high on right now, Brett? Let's give me a player from this game since we just watched it, and then give me a player you're high on.
Player I'm high on, Jonathan Cooper.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
always had a soft spot for Jonathan Cooper.
Nice.
I had him as like a mid-round pick, and he ended up going the 7th. And I was like, why did John Cooper go in the 7th? He's really good. And then he ended up making the team and, basically deposing all of the veteran edge rushers in Denver that were doing nothing. It was like Randy Gregory and it was Randy Gregory and somebody else who like just
Frank Clark,
who were doing nothing. And then John Cooper came in.
Frank before the season even started.
Once, like by week 6 last year, once it was like the John Cooper and Baron Browning show, like that defense was cooking, right? So I'm big on John Cooper. And then from this game, a player that I really like, it sucks because he dropped 2 touchdowns, or at least had 2 tough touchdowns that went off his hands. The tight end from Miami, number 89, Julian Hill. In the first half of that game, when it was still close and the Dolphins were running the ball, he was blocking his ass off. Like he was having a great day as a run blocker. And I know that sounds dumb to
it is such a
blocking tight end
nerd thing.
I'm telling you, man, he put up some crazy reps on tape in that game for run blocking. Again, the whole catching passes part got to work on, but
no, you need
the rest of it is good.
That's a good answer. And that's like we talk about it a lot. Like we'll reference you a lot in a way where it's like, if you want somebody who knows what they're talking about, go watch Brett's videos, because Will and I are never going to watch all 22. We're never going to grind any tape because I can't. It's hard. It's boring for me, and it takes away like I like the mystery of it. So I have a great respect for like, you watch this game and you noticed a tight end blocking. Like that's a different level of love for football, and I respect it. I just can't do it. So I love that answer because it's so perfect for what I think like makes your videos so good. And I wish I had some of that. Like I'm going to actually learn this thing versus like, what kind of dick joke can I write about this guy instead?
But what I like about you, and you have a skill that I will never have, is the way that you build an audience and a community that like every single week, they come back over and over and over again. That is a tough thing to build.
It's taken a while.
On YouTube. Like a consistent community that, when you come to these after the game streams and everybody recognizes everybody, like that's a hard thing to build. Like we have it a little bit over on Bootleg. Like we have a very close knit community on Bootleg, but you have that same close knit community at a crazy scale. And I would say you and Tom and Tree all have that unique gift of having super big audiences that still feel small and communal. That's an extremely hard balance to strike content wise. And you managed to do that. And that's a rare thing. It's a very rare thing.
Having Russell Wilson really helped us. I think Tom figured out that like Tom figured it out. And I learned a lot from Tom. And like Will and I talk about this where we feel like we've been doing our shit pretty much the same the whole time. And we just got more attention with Russ, and we got better as we went along. You like try to get a little bit better each time, but it's like, we didn't really change anything. But like the last 2 years, we had a quarterback who was a lightning rod for attention, and some terrible things happened to our team that we loved. And for whatever reason, people like watching you suffer more than they like watching you be happy.
Dude, that 70-point game, it was bad, but like that honestly. Yeah, that was one of the best things to ever happen to the channel.
It was our first million view video.
Yeah, first million viewed video. The best that like I was at the Colts Broncos game on Thursday night. I went there and I was at the game and I was like, I'm having fun because I'm here, but I was like, this is one of the most boring experiences I've ever had at a football game. And so like I feel like Tom's very calculated. He's got plans, he executes. I just went home. I was like, I got to do a fucking video tomorrow about this stupid thing. And I was just genuinely mad writing. I'm like, this was the worst game I've ever seen. I'm just going to call this video the worst game I've ever seen. And then that did well. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this other game was pretty bad too. Next week, can I call it the new worst game? I can. So it's just luck.
Unfortunately,
luck.
that is a formula that works on YouTube is things going wrong. Like that works a lot more on YouTube than things going right.
Yeah.
And you as a Broncos fan have experienced many things going wrong, which is great for your career, terrible for your mental health as a football fan.
It is.
No, it actually, I think it's okay for my mental health because I get to yell at a camera for 20 minutes and really just get out the disgust that you feel after your team loses, where you're like, oh, I don't have to hold on to this for 24, 48 hours. I got all this bad energy out of my system. Will's usually pretty mad when we do a Broncos post game after a tough loss.
Yeah. For like 2 hours
post
game, I'm still mad. But you give it like, I think right around hour 3, some kind of zen just hits, and I'm like, all right, the video is going to get 350,000 views. There's always next game. There's always next season. It just clears up so quickly. Yeah. That's what you got to do. You got to do the recap right away.
Feel that like angst and borderline rage though when the team doesn't have expectations. Do you still feel that though?
No, I don't think so.
I feel it early in the season with that. Once you kind of know what the expectations are, then like you adjust. I think like what we've been feeling is like, let's just be relevant in like December. Like and the Broncos kind of got there last year.
I would say they were.
They kind of,
again, I was in, is it Copper Canyon? Is that what it was? Copper Canyon? Is that outside of
Copper Mountain?
Copper Mountain?
Yeah.
So that was where I filmed my Broncos episode when I was out there the week after Thanksgiving. So that came out like the first week of December, and they were in it. Like they were in the damn thing. Like they were fighting for a 7 seed. So like mission accomplished, and that was with Russ. So like, again, I don't think the Broncos are a bad team. They just had a really horrifically bad week 1 matchup. But if you told me that like December 10th, the Broncos are like half a game back from a 7 seed. Yeah, I'd believe you, which I think that's kind of all Broncos fans want right now is like have Bo Nix look good and just be relevant.
Yeah. We're trying not to overreact to one game.
I mean, you would have lost it week 1 and you would have lost it week 17. There was no universe where you win that game. So I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah, we would have needed a lot of safeties to get back in that game.
I know. We just needed more safeties. Okay.
That's a problem. Not immediately getting Riley Dixon on the field and pinning them inside the 1.
Yeah.
I will say the memes from that game, just because of how the score happened, was worth the price of admission. It was incredible. It was a great night on Twitter.
All right, we have our bottom 5 teams for the week, Brett. I'm going to go through these quickly. Brett, Will, you guys chime in. You can agree. I just fill them out. They're my bottom 5 teams. So let me know if I'm wrong. I'm starting off. I'm putting the Bengals at number 5. Now, I don't think they're the 5th worst team in the NFL per se, but I'm getting a little tired of the Bengals just not showing up week 1. Taking the entire preseason off. So I put them at 5.
That's fair.
Okay. 4, I put the Raiders. I had the Raiders in last week, and I thought the Raiders were going to play well, and I was going to have to take them out. And Raiders fans were going to be like, I told you our team is better than you said. And it sucks because I love Gardner Minshew. I really do. And I want him to be great. I just don't think he is. The way they handled parts of that game just didn't seem like a team. Like,
here's a question: is there a bigger canary in the coal mine about a head coach than punting in that situation where Antonio Pierce punted 4th and 1 down?
It was the ultimate give up punt.
Yeah. You can't do that.
And we watched a guy get crucified for like those kinds of decisions in Nathaniel Hackett, right? So maybe when you see it, you're like, oh, is this something that's going to be an issue? Or do you think like and it sucks because I don't want to like the Raiders, but I like Pierce, so I'm rooting for Pierce. But how concerned would you be about like a decision like that, Brett? Long term, like
extremely concerned, but also at the same time, I'm not 100% sure if they have like a quote unquote analytics guy on staff who's like supposed to tell them what to do. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know about
maybe
that.
worse.
Most teams do.
yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know how like invested in that they are, where they have like a dedicated like game management coach whose entire job is to tell people what to do.
Should
Some
you
teams
need to be
literally have
told
that.
to go for it in that situation though, if you're a head coach?
You would think in the situation it's like a common
Right.
sense thing, but sometimes the defensive head coaches who are naturally conservative, because they are,
Yeah.
sometimes defensive head coaches like need to be told by just like a nerd with a laptop of like,
You got to
do the thing, you know, and then they'll do it. Like even Mike McDonald, I thought was like, and he's like a new school, like forward thinking, but he's still like a defensive coach. And like you saw him still kind of like be a little conservative in week one. So like Mike McCarthy like famously like got help from a game management coach because he was just like awful in those type of situations where he would just, it seems like every single time he would make the wrong decision in terms of when to punt, when not to punt, when to kick a field goal, when not to kick a field goal. I mean, shit, we just saw Mike McDaniel this week at the end of the first half make a terrible game management decision where he took a really weird timeout with 16 seconds to go when they had an opportunity to at least do a double call. Right. Like typically like how Kyle Shanahan handles the end of the second half is, hey, we have a first down and then we have a 1-word double call. If we get that first down, we're going to run this play, or we're going to do a spike. We're going to save ourselves the timeout so that we still have the middle of the field accessible. Right. They didn't do that. They got the first down, then they called a timeout with 16 seconds to go. They completely took the middle of the field out of the equation. So they couldn't really attack the red zone other than throwing jump balls, and they didn't feel good about that. So they just kicked a field goal on third down with 8 seconds to go. They gave up because they didn't have any timeouts left that would allow them to threaten the middle of the field and space the defense. And the defense knew that. So like, these are the kinds of decisions that a game management coach takes out of the head coach's hand. Right. And I'm not sure, to bring it back to the Raiders, I'm not sure if the Raiders have that, or if they do, if he just said no, I'm still doing it, that's its own problem, right? If he just ignored it.
Your guy's giving you the wrong info because he's just lazy. He's like,
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
it's super easy, guys.
I will say this to wrap up the Raiders, like their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games that they shouldn't be, but they don't have the firepower.
Yeah, usually you won't have Joe Alt locking down Max Crosby every week, so I think Crosby's still got a sack on the other side, but all right. So we had the Raiders at 4, and I put Cleveland at 3. So I do want to apologize to Ohio for putting both, Cleveland and Cincinnati in there.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If the Bengals and Browns played right now, who wins?
Ooh, I say Bengals.
I say Bengals too.
Yeah, because I still think Joe Burrow's a good quarterback.
Are they playing Jake Browning or Joe Burrow? I'm taking the Bengals
coming in.
Browning versus Watson. I'm taking.
Let me ask you this: Browning. If the Browns and Panthers play right now, who wins?
I think if a high school team played the Panthers right now, I feel like I'm taking the high school team.
If Georgia played the Panthers,
that's going to be an ESPN First Take segment next week, I think.
Could a high school team beat the Panthers? If so, which one?
Truly, though, the Browns have a bottom 3 quarterback situation in the NFL. Like, Deshaun's worse than Gardner Minshew.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's exacerbated so badly, too, by the contract. And maybe, like, the ethics and morality of the situation a little bit, too.
Yeah. They can't get out of it. Like, I'm not – and the thing that I still don't know is with this new suit, if that suit falls under – so again, when he signed the contract with them, he had to disclose in writing everything that he did. right?
Oh, do I really have to write down everything, guys?
Well, that's the thing, is if this new suit is something that he didn't disclose. Now, the contract was worded where if something new came to light during the 2022 or 2023 season, all of his guarantees were voided. So theoretically, if this is a new thing that came to light that he didn't disclose, but it happened before the contract was signed, but it's after that time period, do the guarantees still get voided? I have no idea.
No, I don't.
I have no idea. And he's not going to get put on the commissioner's exempt list because it's a civil suit first instead of a criminal suit. And he's not going to get put on the exempt list without criminal charges. So, like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So
I'm just gonna wait for
bad.
Mike Florio to explain it to me. But it's crazy because it was like this is the only out, and it's like that's a horrible thing. It's like if another accusation comes to fruition, then the Browns can get out of that contract. And now we're like, well, we don't even know for sure if they can, but maybe.
Do you think there's any truth to, and this is something I heard, that the Browns got rid of Flacco or basically let him walk because Deshaun Watson was insecure about how last season played out?
Oh.
I think they got rid of Flacco because they just like Jameis better.
Interesting.
But I'm not saying it's like a great answer.
No. See, I don't trust their decision making with quarterbacks.
Yeah, probably not.
I think Stefanski's Coach of the Year award should be taken away if Deshaun continues to look this bad. You can't win that award and then have a quarterback play this bad. Like Russ, at least with Russ, because his trade was compared a lot to Watson in terms of how bad it was. And Russell Wilson was not a bad quarterback. He was a flawed quarterback. And so watching Watson early last season and then now it's like
the Russ deal was bad. The Russ deal was bad, but it's not even in the same universe.
No. Yeah. Will and I have been trying to say that for years, but you're like, shut up, Broncos fan.
It's not even close. The Browns would drag themselves naked through a warehouse of broken glass covered in lemon juice and salt to have Russell Wilson as their starter right now.
But yes.
Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, I agree.
Is there any point where they just bench him?
I mean, yeah, if they want to keep the respect of the rest of the locker room.
Yeah.
Like, they still got to pay him, but they can still bench him.
I'm choking on my whiskey. It's okay.
It's smoky. It'll get you.
Oh, when that goes down the wrong pipe, it stings. All right. Panthers at 2 and the Giants at 1. I did this out of respect for the Panthers because I had them at 2 last week. I think it'd be easy to say the Giants are maybe better than the Panthers, but I don't think there's anything controversial here, right, guys? This is a pretty good list.
One of the games that I'm most looking forward to this entire season is November 11th, Panthers versus Giants.
Yeah.
Because that will determine the first overall pick.
Isn't that in like Germany too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which feels like a war crime.
Feels like retribution.
Like, I get it. Germany did some bad stuff, but that's a little much, don't you think?
I think I think bygones should be bygones by now.
Yeah.
No, that's that is truly like there's no reason to get up at 6 a.m. for that if you're on the West Coast.
Oh God, no. I mean, I'm still going to because I'm a degenerate, but like normal people should not watch that game.
No.
Like,
it'll be
go to church.
Yeah.
Do anything.
If that game is on like ESPN Plus or like any subscription service, somehow subscriptions will go down before that game. They will lose subs
out of protest.
Yeah.
I don't know. What if Tommy DeVito's playing? Then maybe we got something to watch for, boys.
DeVito.
My diabetic cat is crawling across the couch while having neuropathy where he can't walk well. 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Take care of that cat.
Yeah, speaking of cats. The Panthers.
Look at all these cats. There's like there's actually 3 cats here. 1 dog.
3 cats?
The Raider's a cat.
Oh, the Raider is a cat in this.
There's a Minshew one and there's a cat one.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Rachel who designed those all.
Yeah, she does a great job.
And Underdog for sponsoring today's show. What's your promo code with Underdog, Brett?
Well, I have two. I have mine, which is Brett, and then I have Bootleg,
Nice.
which is the main one that I use.
Yeah. Don't use that one, guys. Use That's Good. I'm kidding. Brett has helped all of us so much by being transparent about like what us idiots should be doing in the space, how to approach this as a business. I think through our management company, we all got introduced to Underdog because Brett started working with them first. So if you want to support Brett, definitely use my code still.
Oh, you got a genuine snort out of me. God damn it.
Good. That's all I wanted. That's
No,
all we have for
I
you,
would
Brett.
I would say use Perna's code because he is and I've met a lot of people in the space. He is genuinely one of the best people in all of like YouTube sports media.
You hear that, Will?
He deserves every ounce of your support.
Yes.
And I mean shit, Perna's been in the YouTube space, even behind the scenes, since like the beginning of YouTube. And he's been grinding longer than literally anybody that I know. So I'm happy to see his success, and you should use his promo code.
Yes. Use that promo code. Use it hard. 10,000
Use it multiple times. Commit fraud. Sign up with multiple emails.
I said, well, I didn't say fraud. I said, I just ask for people to change their identities legally.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it is a new.
How about this? Have children. Wait 21 years. Have them sign up. Use the promo code.
Oh,
have large Phillip Rivers families.
Yes. Have 10 kids and all have them use their promo codes.
Yes.
Sign up your friends without them knowing.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Steal their credit card and deposit without them knowing. Like, it's not that hard.
No.
Check still clears.
Pick pockets.
That's what we support here. But seriously, subscribe to Brett's channel. I'm going to let Brett get out of here while Will and I finish this show up. It's only really our second or third show, so we don't really have too much of a formula or a plan here, Brett. Anything you got coming out this week?
So I have an episode coming out on Saturday about the new kickoff structure and how it's crazy and how teams are basically using like run play designs to pop big returns and how like we're only at the tip of the iceberg. Because if you look at like the XFL returns, because they had a similar structure, my buddy Sam Schwartzstein, who worked at the XFL, former Stanford lineman, by the way, he was like the architect of this whole kickoff return structure for the XFL, and then the NFL, obviously took it for this year. And, he's got a whole bunch of clips of like them doing like crazy reverses and end arounds and stuff like that. And so like, we're going to see some crazy stuff this year. So it's a video about that, as well as like the difference between the 30-yard line touchback and the 20-yard line touchback, and how certain teams that have very gifted kickers have a massive field position advantage based on the styles of kickoffs that they're doing to force different types of touchbacks. And it's there's nerd shit in there. So if you like math and kickers, this is the video for you.
Yes.
I think I think this is your sweet spot too within your videos. Like your tush push video was really good and did really well. Like breaking down this stuff is, I think, fascinating. So I bet this video does very well.
I hope so, because I really need Game Time to come back as a sponsor.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, I enjoy all of you. Thank you, chat.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Sure
I'll be
you
back
guys
soon.
show Brett all the love. And that does not mean expose yourself.
Ooh.
All right, now it's just you and me again, Will.
Oh, brother.
Couple super chats here. What are the odds that Tua is done in the NFL? I don't think he's done.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he might be done for the season, but
yeah, it depends.
We'll see. You know, I mean, the way Al Michaels was talking about it, it's like, well, I've got, a 10-day bye, or, the mini bye week, so you can pass concussion protocol and play in
He'll
10
be ready
days.
next week.
I was like, well, probably not.
I was like, shit, if he played Sunday, he might clear in my book.
Yeah. Al's
I watched football
wacky.
when guys purposely got concussions and came back in the game. I still like he's still coy about sports betting. At the very end, he's like,
Al,
there's a
do I have
reason
news
some
for
people
you?
might still be watching. I was like, he did it
Yeah.
again. He did
He
it
knows
again.
what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Johnny might be sleeping, or he's probably working right now. Sorry, BP. Tried to sign up with the second email, but they're on to me. Grab Will a drink on me for smoky scotch. I have one Ardbeg up there, but I'll try that one. Oh, going to Bo's first home game. Nice. Will be there as well.
Yep.
Slightly ticklish. Better than being very ticklish. Was there anything else I wanted to talk to you about? Oh, my pills.
When to take them?
We were talking. Yeah, when do I take my memory pills, Will? I was tracking my enemies. Did you see this thing this dude tweeted out about the Saints and the Bounty Gate scandal?
I heard something about it. I did not watch the video.
Yeah.
On my autoplay right now. Oh, no.
It's like a lot of people said the guy who does whatever guy who is breaking this story.
Yeah.
And then they're like, don't trust that dude. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to trust that dude. So I don't even really want to show him to give him credit. But he's got a video of the guy who was the Commander's president of content. The guy who was just exposed, I guess, on video, talking about players and them being homophobic and dumb and all these things. He's talking to that guy, and that guy's talking about the Bountygate scandal was actually a cover-up because there was an opioid scandal of Saints coaches stealing painkillers and then distributing those to players.
Yeah. I'm gonna just chalk this one up as this is above my pay grade.
Yeah. So I'm tracking this as my enemy for two reasons. One, is there like a scandal I'm going to have to deal with and worry about? Or two, am I having to deal with some sort of fake story that's being perpetuated for clicks? Then there was a bunch of Saints fans who were like, we already knew about all this. We already knew this. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyway, I'm watching it.
New.
I'm watching it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Anyway. All right, well, we do another show. We did it good.
Did we? Yeah, we sure did.
All right. Thank you guys for watching late night action with us. I know we're not quite nightcap yet. Just waiting on Will to accidentally live stream his next sexual experience. And then we're going to get
Keep waiting.
the people interested. All right, guys. Good night. Wait, I missed a super chat. What? I didn't miss a super chat. I got this one. Where did I miss one? I got this one. Oh, pet peeve, unrealistic fans. I'm a Raiders fan. No, I got that one. Oh, man. If I missed it, I'm sorry. I can't get through all of them. Damn it. Anyway, good night.
And God bless Bo Nix.
John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.